please come and share with us.
Good morning. Before I get started, to the gentleman in the back, if you hear knocking, nobody's at the door. That's just my knees because I'm nervous. Okay, and I wanted to share with you today what God has done for me. As a teenager, I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. Some traits of this disorder are taking things people do and say in a negative way, always. Overthinking everything, crippling feelings of inadequacy, self-harm, and at times explosive anger. If you combine this with the normal teenage issues, I was miserable to say the least. At 16, I found alcohol. I fell in love with the feeling. For once, I didn't overthink. It must be what normal people feel like. Within months, I was drinking daily. When I couldn't get alcohol, I drank cough medicine. Anything to feel like a normal person. I drank throughout my 20s, and at 32, I stopped when I married a preacher. I quit for 13 years. Then a week after moving to a new state, my ex and I split up. I was alone in a place where I knew no one, and I found solace at the local bar. Within a week, I was closing down the bar on a regular basis. When I moved to Wisconsin in 2019, my drinking was more social and sporadic, but always drinking to excess. As time went on, I started smoking pot on a regular basis. I did this to curb the drinking, but pot did not give me the desired effect of shutting my brain off. In fact, it did the opposite. I thought too much. It didn't take long for me to start drinking and smoking weed nightly. Alcoholism is a progressive disease. Near the end of my drinking, it was quite normal for me not to remember the night before, and I was never bothered by this. I felt whatever I did or said was better not remembered. More nights than not, Tomas had to take my shoes off and get me into bed because I was too drunk and high to do it myself. During my sober hours, this caused a great deal of guilt for me. But still, all I could think about was evening and being able to get that next drink or smoke. My constant prayer was, God, remove me from this situation. The day of my last drunk was emotional and filled with mental decline. Due to things my mind was telling me, I drank half a gallon of cinnamon whiskey and several White Claws. I was burning myself and decided I needed to go to the hospital. While sitting in the waiting room, I realized that staring at walls in the hospital would not solve my issues. I felt abandoned and alone, and I needed a real and permanent solution. I left the ER with a suicide plan to be carried out later that night. I came home and continued to drink. Thankfully, Tomas called Justin, and he and Renee came over. They were able to talk me off the edge. Justin prayed over me. Memories of that day are sketchy, and things I do remember are a blur. But I have spoken to each of them since, and all have stated that there was an undeniable presence among us. God was with us that day. I woke up the next morning, not hungover, but with an amazing sense of relief. I knew my prayers had been answered. I was out of that situation. I have been clean and sober since 122 days. And thank you. And I am working to be the best Dawn I can be. It took months of praying daily, but my prayers were answered in His time, and His response left a permanent and deeply divine impact on my life. Philippians 4:7 speaks of the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. With this peace, I have had zero desire today to drink or do drugs. And though I thank Him nightly, I look forward to the day that I am able to kneel before Him and face to face thank Him for this amazing gift. Thank you.